Hey there, and welcome back. Today is all about permanent product recording procedures. We're going to be talking about what it is, how to use it, and also go over some examples of permanent product recording, not just in ABA, but also in our day to day lives. So keep watching. First things first, what exactly is permanent product recording? Well, it's a method used to track behavior after the behavior has happened. It focuses on the physical effects that were caused by a behavior. A good way to remember this is by one of the definitions for the word product itself. A product is a thing that is the result of an action or a process. So, in the field of applied behavior analysis, a permanent product is the result of a behavior. The most common examples of permanent products are classwork and homework. Teachers have so many students that they have to support, which means that they can't always have their two eyes on every student at once. And they also can't go to the student's home and spy on them. So, the closest way to ensuring that students are practicing academic skills is to assign classwork and homework. See, the classwork and homework are the result of studying and practicing academic skills. We use permanent products with our pets all the time. I know that with my cats, I don't watch them all day to see whether or not they're eating their food, but an empty food bowl or a water dispenser is an indicator that they were eating. An empty food bowl or a water dispenser is a permanent product because it's the result of my cat's eating. Parents and caretakers have been using permanent product recording since the beginning of time. How do you think they know when we do or don't do our chores, especially if they've been at work all day? That's because a clean room or an empty sink are examples of permanent products. They're the results of cleaning. Permanent product recording isn't technically a measurement method, but it helps to get an idea of if the behavior occurred because the behavior ends up leaving tangible clues in the environment. Let's talk about some of the benefits of using permanent product recording. For one, it gives us an objective measurement. Permanent products provide objective evidence of behavior. This means less guesswork. Recording when the behavior is actually happening does not always produce the true measurement of that behavior. Sometimes we miscalculate. Sometimes we may not catch every instance of the behavior. But with a permanent product, seeing that there's an environmental effect gives us an indicator that the behavior did in fact occur. Another benefit is that permanent products reduce observer influences. Since you're obsessing what's left behind after the behavior, the observer's presence doesn't impact the behavior itself. This leads to more reliable data. And of course, another benefit is that it's time efficient. Recording permanent products can save time. Instead of having to track behaviors in real time or relying on an interval timer, you can assess the outcomes at your own convenience. But like most great things in life, permanent product recording can have its disadvantages. The biggest one being is that it's not always evident whose behavior is responsible for creating the product. For example, yes, John did turn in his homework, but maybe Patricia did it for him. Or you got really lucky and your sister just did the dishes for you so your mom won't yell at you. As you can see, permanent product only shows that the behavior occurred. It doesn't exactly show who admitted the behavior. Now, how do we actually implement permanent product recording? Let's break it down into simple steps. The first one is to determine the specific behavior you want to track. Next, you want to clarify what that permanent product will be. Then once the behavior has taken place, you want to gather the permanent product. In some instances, you want to make sure that you store it safely in a place where you can look over it later. You also want to then document important details like the date, the time, and the context surrounding the behavior and the permanent product. Afterwards, analyze the product against your criteria for success. Finally, use the collected data to make informed decisions about the future interventions and supports surrounding that behavior. I know it sounds like a lot, but let's put it into practice. Say we are working with a kid who is known to throw objects and bite. We set up a plan to track his behavior using permanent product recording. First, we want to determine the specific behavior we're tracking. So in this case, it will be property destruction and aggression. Next, we clarify what the permanent products will be. For property destruction, it can be something like the objects being out of place or objects that have been damaged, like a broken window or flipped over desk. For aggression, this could look like a bite mark left on a person or an item. Once the behavior has taken place, we are going to gather the permanent product and safely store it for analysis later. Since it's difficult to save a bite mark or a broken object, the next best thing is to take picture or video recordings. After documenting the important details, we then want to analyze the permanent product against the criteria for success. So hopefully in this instance, that criteria for success is 0 instances of aggression and property destruction. Finally, we use our collected data to make informed decisions about future interventions and supports. And that could be maybe placing the furniture and objects in ways that it's hard for them to be used as projectiles, or even taking on the decision to buy protective items such as arm guards. Okay, let's consider a less chaotic scenario. This time we have a client who wants to stop smoking cigarettes. First step is to determine the specific behavior that we're tracking. For this scenario, it will be smoking cigarettes. Next, we want to clarify what that permanent product will be for smoking cigarettes. So we decide on cigarette butts or like the ends of the cigarettes. Once the behavior has taken place, we want to gather that permanent product. So maybe at the end of the day, the client turns in all the cigarette butts from the cigarettes that they had smoked throughout the day. Our next step is to document important details and we analyze the product against the criteria for success. Since the goal is to quit smoking, the ultimate number of cigarette butts should actually be decreasing. Finally, we use the collected data to make informed decisions about future interventions and supports. Say that the number of cigarette butts calculated are actually increasing instead of decreasing. This kind of information helps us to consider using different interventions than what's already in place. I hope this video helps you understand the power of permanent product recording in ABA. It is a simple yet effective way to evaluate behaviors and track progress. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with others, and don't forget to subscribe for more breakdowns on principles in applied behavior analysis. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.